All right, so here's another update. Not sure how long I'm going to be continuing to do daily updates, but figured I could go ahead and do it for as long as I can. Anyway, so I've been following this tutorial on how to use trim sheets to texture individual faces. This is something I've not done before, and so actually, it's turned out to be a lot easier. I couldn't figure out the vertex group. Something's wrong with that, but it's pretty cool. So I select a face, and then I'm in Blender. I've got my model. This is the tunnels for the first level. I can select a face, and then when I'm over here, I can drag my UVs and select a particular texture. So I'm making this one big texture, and it's going to have a lot of little slices that are 32 by 32, and each one of those will represent like a different texture I'm going to use in my mesh. So I select a face, in this case the walls, and whenever I do that, let me deselect everything so you can see the texture here. This is the stone face. This is like a mossy ground. So when I select the face, and then I just assign the UVs to that particular region of the texture, and that works quite well. And so you can see this one's assigned to the walls. This one down here is assigned to the floor. I have this little water down here. This is pending. I'm going to put a texture in here for the thing, but I just assigned it to the background blue texture. Um, the blue texture was kind of an accident, but it turned out to be really helpful because when I first imported this over into the game and started running it, I saw these blue lines around. And I immediately recognized this because I'd done some 2D stuff before. This is like texture bleed. It means it's like grabbing the next texture over. And if I hadn't done blue, I probably wouldn't have even noticed that it was doing this. So I did some searching and went back into Blender and was looking, and it turns out I had my snapping incorrect, and it was snapping. It wasn't snapping to the right vertices in my UV grid. So what I had to turn on was this absolute grid snap. It was snapping like relative to the texture and where I placed the box in increments. But turning this on made it snap to absolute coordinates on the grid. So I went through, fixed that, and then I would, grab points and kind of move them like this until they were fixed. And then I exported it again back into here, and let me show you the result. Here we go. No blue lines. The texture seams look pretty good. There's also some the grasses look in there. The water pops a little bit more, I think, with the blue down there, although I'm going to tweak it a little bit more, I think. Um, but there's still a problem, and this is what I'm going to be figuring out next. I'm getting some distortion here. I've attempted to do to like reduce the size of the UVs that are being mapped to these sides, to see if that fixes the problem. But I've not had a lot of success yet. So I'm gonna keep working on that. I figured that out. I'll post another update. But also the grass texture needs some work. This is my first attempt at texturing. I'm not very much of an artist, so um, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can figure out these mapping issues, maybe clean up the textures, and then I'm gonna work on expanding the level and maybe adding the interactivity that I keep saying I'm gonna add. Anyway, there's my update. Thank you.